All right, welcome to webinar number 2. Thank you guys for all showing up. This is exciting. So you guys have done a lot of stuff. I am really excited, and I feel bad because I did not get follow-up done. The last webinar I was somewhere, and I really haven't been in the office hardly since. So I need to do follow-up from the last webinar, so I am sorry for that. Let's see. Heather is not here, but they did some really fun things. If you look, they did Survey 123 and did an advisory competition, and then you can see their little maps of where everybody's t-shirt had the location on. And what a fun thing. I just love that. So that was pretty exciting, I thought, to see what she did there. Or is this Jennifer? This is Jennifer. Sorry, Jennifer. This is what Jennifer did. So did you do this with her, Colby, or not?
That must have just been at the school.
Oh, okay.
I'm at the high school, so she must have just done that at the middle school.
She went rogue without you?
Yep.
Awesome. All right, and then she had a couple of questions that I haven't had a chance to try to figure out yet. And so the location in Survey 123, and Colby, do you know, I'm trying to remember if it gives you the actual address or if it just gives you the latitude and longitude. So I need to play around with that and see. But I just looked at the question, so yeah. So let's see, Paula, what have you done?
Well, other than beat my head against the wall, we're still trying to get our kids in.
Okay.
Dale has found a way. He did temporary accounts, which worked. And then when he went back like 3 weeks later, of course, the accounts were all shutting down. So he did a activity the other day, and he was able to just get them to go to the site that was on the geo inquiry. And they were able to do the maps and all the demographics and things like that without having an account.
Okay.
So we're still struggling to get our kids into an account so we can do more of the things that we're looking at. And Don Lyon, our principal, is not up to date. Our technology guys say they've never heard of this, so they're not up to date. So we're still just trial and error trying to figure out how to get our kids in.
Okay, so I really will follow up this time. It won't be for a couple weeks because we've got Thanksgiving coming up next week, but the following week we will get something figured out with you guys, because really what we just need to do is have Dawn create one of you guys as an admin too, so that you can take over the world. And Paula,
yeah, that'd be Dale.
All right, if you want Dale to do it, but we'll do that, and then you can create accounts and everything like that. I am actually really excited about your next what you're brainstorming. Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
We had a time to get together, and come up with some things as we were curriculum mapping, and we need to incorporate more of the Oshedi-Shakoween standards in. And so we were talking about how migration and all that, and we came up with an idea of trying to have them layer maps as the different tribes moved, and then as the Europeans came in, and then maybe figure out how did they decide where in this area the reservations were going to be. Okay. And so Dale's been working a little more with the layering. And so we're pretty excited to see if that will come through. Again, just trying to make sure that we get all the kids on there, because it's not, right now, it's just not much fun when we have to do it and they watch. So.
Right. No, that makes sense. And I like your project. And then you talk about using story maps at some point over the year. What you're doing right now could be a really awesome map contest project, just because it's tied into South Dakota, and it could tie in really well. So I will follow up with you guys so on accounts, and I'll send you an email, and we will try to do something the first week of December. Okay?
Sounds good.
Okay. All right. Steve is not here, though he had some great questions. I mean, they've done some stuff. They've got kids logged in and they've done geo inquiries and they've done survey 123. And I mean, so it's exciting. Tutorials for creating a presentation similar to the San Diego one. And I'm not 100% sure what he's asking there. And so I don't know if I'm not because what the San Diego kids presented was a story map. And does anybody has created something for middle school students to introduce them to story maps? And so I did add, there's the story map tutorial in 11 steps. And so that is not, it's not perfect. I mean, it's not a printable thing, but it is a very nice story map builder because it basically just goes through and it tells you start the story. So you sign in. And then as you scroll on down, it does step you through. So it's not a printable tutorial, but it does step you through all the steps. So
Julie, I think he was referring to one of the initial like step-by-step guides that had all of these pre-embedded images of a San Diego vacation.
oh, yes, that's what it was. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, thank you
And
for remembering that. And there isn't one right now. There is not
Okay.
one of those right now, just because they've gone to that new, the new
Okay.
mapper. So, yes, thanks for remembering that. I totally forgot that, Dan. All the fun we have. So, yeah, okay. All right, Corey. Is Corey here? No.
Mm-mm.
Okay, so I will drop so they've got more classes logged in, working on survey 123, story maps, and I wish he was here because he's talking about they all seem to love it because they caught on. So it'd be nice to hear what he did. Saving story maps so they can send it to him or put it on Google Classroom is to share like we did in class. And so I will put the link on how to share a story map on the answers, and then you guys can do that. All right, Jamie, did you fill anything in? Hi, Jamie, you're muted. You're
Turn on my
unmuted.
video. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. I haven't yet. Is this something we do have access to? I didn't miss the last webinar, so.
Yeah, you have access to it. So go ahead and, so what have you done?
Okay, well, so far I haven't had a chance to do much because of being the tech assistant. That kept me kind of busy, so I'm just getting to the point now where I need to start looking at some ideas. So I'm kind of excited to look at through the ones other people have implemented so far.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have any questions?
I don't think so.
Okay. All right. So yeah, fill this in and then, and even if you haven't done anything, just say I haven't done anything. So that's how we roll. So Elkie, I'm so sorry. I did not get followed up with you, but you got your org account set up without me. So yay.
Yeah, it took me a little bit, but we finally got it figured out.
Good, good.
So, and after Christmas, I changed all my technology courses. So I'll have my sixth graders then. So I'm wanting to have them participate on the online competition. So,
Oh, cool.
so yeah, so I'll be doing that, but it won't start till after Christmas. So.
Okay. Cool. No, that's awesome, and I'm glad. And I'm sorry. December, for the first week of December, we'll schedule to reach out. So if you need anything, let me know, because I am sorry. I was on the road pretty much nonstop since the last webinar. All right, Patty is not here, but she also asked for online instructions and she wanted something that she could print out, and I can't find anything that you can print out. I've just found those 11 steps so far. I mean, you could turn them into something that's printed out, but it's not, I don't have anything new. I find older things, but because they went to that new format, there's nothing new. Let's see, we have, and she's done some really cool looking things with the geo inquiries. Nice. So she modified geo inquiries to meet their needs. That's awesome. So good. Paul, you've been doing cool things.
Yeah, I'm still most comfortable with the geo inquiry side of it, but I found one that was really good. To Kill a Mockingbird, there was one for that, and my kids were reading that book for English. And then I caught on that they were reading that, so then I found the geo inquiry, which fit in something I was teaching in social studies. So then I was able to do a little bit of cross curricular stuff with it. So I found that the geo inquiries, there's enough already pre-made ones there that you can kind of look at how something they're studying in another class, you can enrich their experience. So I was able to do that a little bit. And then I teach a South Dakota history class. We just kind of made up an elective class. And I want to do a story map for that. And I want the kids to do the contest for that. But then I just want to like get a refresher on how to do a story map, kind of like what other people are saying. And then, because isn't the contest kind of building a story map?
It is. Yep. Yep.
So then I want to like improve myself at making story maps, and I haven't made one yet for the class. So I guess I work on those skills, and then I'm set up as the organizational person for our school. And my big thing is I haven't got all my teachers and all my students in because I'm more like afraid of messing it up.
Okay.
No, there's no way to mess it up, but I'm still trying to find like however many accounts we have. Like, do we do accounts for each class, each student? Like, I'm still
really
wondering like what the best way to navigate all that is.
So as the org account, you can grow it. And so what I would do this year is you want to use it, and is there another teacher that wants to use it?
Yeah, I think we have a couple.
Okay,
right,
so
teachers.
I would create those teachers as like not the head org person, but give them some admin rights, and then create either personalized accounts for each of those kids in those classes, or just do some generic accounts and go that route for this year, and just to kind of get kids, get them in, get them logged in, have them because you don't,
if they do a generic count, so say you do, it's just the first account for geography class, can the next geography class use the same account?
yes. Well, okay. So what do you mean next geography class? Like,
so like I have four
periods.
Classes. Yeah, 4 periods. So then I make 30 accounts, and then the first period uses the first count 1, and then second period comes in. Can they use account 1?
They can. So it'll be just like when we did the training, you guys were all using essentially demo accounts. And so and I think, I mean, I had 25 accounts, and so I think when I made them, none of you guys shared, but when you were in, you saw that there were people, there was other stuff in your account, and that would be because somebody else created it. I would probably make account 30 accounts for each class, and then go that route, just so that you don't end up with the sharing going on.
Okay.
Just because that way, if I go in and I'm using a shared account and I accidentally delete your work, you know what I mean? I mean, you don't necessarily want that.
So then, and honestly, if I'm the only one using it in my building right now, I could just make one for each kid. I mean, because is there 500 you could use?
Yeah. Yeah.
So if I just made one for each kid and then just went for it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So cool. Well, I'm excited. I'm excited that you've got that going, and I love the cross curricular. I just think that's super cool, just because it's a neat way to tie in the GIS resources and keep it relevant to what they're doing in other classes. All right, Colby, it's your turn to talk. So what have you done?
Same with kind of like Paul, just kind of living in that geo inquiry world here. I've pretty much got everything world geography set, so I've moved on to world history since I teach that. And next semester I'll do Reformation, Industrial Revolution, because we've already passed those things, but I put them in next semester's curriculum mapping. And then world history we'll do. We've done Age of Napoleon. That was one of the first ones I did with my world history kids. And then we'll move on to post World War I. We're doing that next week, and that's it's pretty much all we'll do for world history this year. I think maybe one more I'll be able to sneak in. Which one was it? Which one did I sneak in? I did like it was Central and Allied Powers. I pulled that from U.S. history, but we can use it in world history. So we'll be doing that one. That'll be kind of our last one. And then other than that, just those are just kind of the only real ones I've been doing for world history right now.
How are the kids liking them?
Kids do like them. The first ones we did as a class, and you could tell some of the kids were like, hurry up, let's go to the next thing, because they were like looking ahead and wanting to go ahead. So the next time we did it, that's part of my question too, is we did them as a class, and I could tell some kids were getting bored with it and kind of wanting to go ahead, but I wanted them to slow down and to know all the things. And the next time we did them as a group, and being them in a customized learning program, I'm going to have to eventually let these kids go and do it on their own, because I've got some kids they've finished world geography just this last week. So they finished a semester class in a little over a quarter. So now they're starting world history, which means it's kind of hard to explain, but technically they're behind this semester's world history kids, but technically they're ahead, if that makes sense. Because they're starting early. So they're going to be starting those geo inquiries by themselves. And if they've got questions, they got to come and ask me, because I'm not going to be doing those with them as a class, because we've already done that. So it's kind of hard to do them all as a class or as a group, because I'm going to have some kids that are ahead of the pace of where I'm at or behind. And so doing some of these things makes it a little bit more tricky on my end, but I think I'm getting it kind of figured out.
When you do the geo inquiries, are you using the Google Docs worksheets with them, or are you giving them the geo inquiry, or what are you doing? What are you giving them?
I pull them off the Google Doc, and then I put them on a Word doc or in Pages, and they do them off there, and they click on the Esri link and pulls up the map and everything. And then they submit them, and I finally got my answer binder all figured out. So when I'm going through them, I've got all the answer sheets there, because I'll have some that, they're already on geo inquiries that I haven't done yet or even looked at. So then I got to go through and make sure the answers are correct, and then I got to call them back if they miss something, and I got to go through it. So it's kind of where I'm at.
I guess when I think about and this is with adults, but when we do it with adults, we tend to do something to help you guys get familiar with the platform, and so, something where we do something together, but the partnering tends to work really well for the geo inquiries, because you have those discussions if you can do that. And I'm trying to think of a way that if you could just bring in some discussion, like when they get through, just pulling in those informal kind of discussions, maybe.
I have modified them a little bit. So when it's like
Okay.
the ask or analyze part, I'll have them upload a screenshot of the map, so I can make sure they're actually going through it and they're in the right spot, or the right map is showing up, or they've gone through the right layers and things like that, so they're doing the program right. And then I'll have them write a quick response about what they've done up to this point and what they're seeing in the map as Napoleon moves to Russia or whatever. Some of the different things they're seeing that. So I've added a few more questions just so I can get, because again, I don't really have that group discussion because they're all in different parts of the curriculum, so I have to have it right there in the assignment too. So I've done a little bit with some of the assignments. But some of them get so far ahead that I can't keep up with where they're at. So they just, they get the normal geo inquiry and that's it.
And the other thing that you could do, is like bring in something like Flipgrid or something like that, where they actually do a little reflection. And then as kids come in, they watch and comment on, and so you have that that going on. And so it's not completely live, but at least it's that start of a discussion there. But yeah, that's a good, I mean, that's the thing I like about the geo inquiries is they are, you can do them so many different ways, but that completely individual, I mean, you kind of do miss out on that discussion opportunity, and so that is a good point. So I don't know, Dan, do you have any other thoughts?
I was thinking if you had, I guess depending on the personalized model that you guys are using, you may not be available to help that new batch of kids to go through, but you probably have one or two kids that have gone through already that you would probably say these kids are just natural. They can't stop, like they're just going for it. And maybe somehow utilizing them as a support personnel for the new batch if you aren't available,
Yep.
as just a way to kind of meet them where they're at. But even depending on staffing and depending on who's in what part of the building when, that may or may not be an option.
Yeah. And what's nice is that, so I teach world history and world geography, so I've got them all. And now that I've got geo inquiries in world geography and world history, they will have gotten a little bit of what the geo inquiry is and ArcGIS and how the program works. So I'm hoping that cuts down on a lot of those questions that they have with just the program, because a lot of it is not the content for some of these kids. A lot is just like, where do I find the table for this part and whatnot. And so hopefully that kind of just works itself out.
I'm excited. I'm excited that you've implemented it to that level, you know, and that the kids are actually going through a series of them, because that's pretty cool. So I'll quick show you. So you've got your bolded. How does Jennifer?
Yeah.
Because you're not part of this at all. I'm taking it.
Well, I am.
So you can take and make a copy of this. This is a pretty generic training. I just did this in Wyoming, but I mean, it's you can do it wherever. I mean, you can take it. So like the beginning is just kind of the intro. There's a video on there. Then like this free ArcGIS stuff, I would take that away and just say, here's our accounts, or this is how you log in, or this is how you get an account, or whatever you do.
Okay.
But then down here we do, you know, we did the 5v5 basically. That was when I was like, how do you Zoom? How do you, you know, get people in and get them playing around a little bit just so that they touch it. You probably don't have time to do a lot of undercover mapper, but it is good to pop into those just so there again, it's another way to help build their confidence. And then what we've done is go in, we will like do a demo of a geo inquiry with the group, but then also giving them time to explore those geo inquiries and see if there's something that they can do, and stressing that you don't have to be logged in to use the geo inquiries. You can just go ahead and do. And then as we scroll on down, there is the info to create a public account, which you don't need because they have org accounts, so you can delete that. And then we go into stuff that like Dan really likes, the maps we love, and those can be really great ways to just, you know, find content to use to illustrate in your classroom. And the story maps and like how to get started with story maps. And then as we go on down, and like here's the Wyoming map contest, but obviously there's a South Dakota map contest if they want to do that. And so, and you guys have those links on your trainings and stuff. But so this is just a real basic thing that you can take everything from and run with.
I'll make sure Jennifer gets that.
You're the best.
And Paula, you should use it too when you present to the district.
I'll be sure Dale gets that.
All right. See, you guys are so awesome. You look out for your colleagues. I just love that. Everybody else is going, so glad I don't work with those guys. All right. So, and the other thing, Colby, you've got some really great implementation stuff going on. But you may want to share like what Paul did with the To Kill a Mockingbird, just that cross-curricular stuff too, to kind of help them make those connections, because that's you guys have some really great examples going on of what you're doing.
my hope is that we usually get a good variety of teachers of English, math, and science. And I saw the link there of Geo Inquiries, and just showing them their different subject and have them click in there and look at some of the different topics that they cover in their curriculum, and seeing that they've got follow-up activities that go along with geography and the maps, and maybe have them work through one of them as a group and things like that. I think that'll kind of pique their interest a little bit too.
Nice. Well, and you know, when we started adding when we added the undercover mappers, that really did also help with getting you through the features and not and it was more more self-directed, and so it wasn't necessarily just everybody follow us type of thing. It was, you could do that. So, but yeah, cool. Well, I'm excited. So those are linked here too. And then Dan, do you wanna break the news to them about the TIE conference?
Was it the news related to the fact that we were uncertain about 100% funding their presentations?
No. It was the news that you had the brilliant idea to say we need these guys to present at the TIE conference.
Oh, I thought I told everybody that already, didn't I?
No. We talked about that after the.
Nice try, Dan. Nice try.
So I think what we nominate Colby and Paula.
No, Colby and Jennifer.
I think it's in Sioux Falls this year, so it'll be a long trek for our Spearfish district. But it would be awesome the more people that showed up and shared like what you were doing. That's how we get teachers across the state to try and use it, you know.
Well, and just it's just, I mean, I'm loving what I'm hearing, you know, it's the cross curricular and the integration and everything like that, and just to have some real experience and real discussion about it, I think would be really, really awesome. So and I need to go ahead.
But maybe not like a whole conference session. It's like a breakout.
Yeah, just a break. Yeah, you wouldn't be like the conference.
Yeah.
Nor would you be a keynote. Maybe you'd be a keynote. I don't know. Okay. But so please consider that. The deadline is January 8th, so we won't meet again before that. So what I'll probably do is I'm going to send an email out with a little form and see if people, you know, if you'd be interested in doing this or not. And if so, get a few of you guys.
I'm on a webinar. Can we wait just a few minutes?
Sorry. And then Dan and I will help you write the proposal. That's no big deal. And so all that's no biggie. But we really would, I think it'd be a lot of fun to have this talked about at the TIE conference, because you guys are doing amazing things, and it's a good deal. So, all right. Map viewer. So last month when we met, we did talk about that there was going to be a new version of the map viewer, and it is supposed
released in a couple hours.
I know, the evening of November 19th, which is like today. So when you're logged in and you see the grid up by your name, you also should see the map viewer there that you can go in. And so I linked you the information about the new map viewer, and also just know that it's coming today, they say, and we're good. So Dan, do you want to jump us to smart mapping real quick so that I'm not sure we're going to have time to do everything. Okay.
Can we talk just very briefly about our understanding? Can you scroll up just a wee bit?
Mm-hmm.
Our understanding of Map Viewer Beta, it was sort of like the integration of a bunch of pre-existing, already vetted layers. So it takes wasn't that it, Julie?
No, it's just a new map.
It was like a much slicker way to integrate layers, I thought, was my understanding. Yeah, it's faster, it's intuitive, and it's flexible. So my hope is that for complex analysis, you will get to the point where you're like, well, let me try this out. And you'll see, like, it takes some of the guesswork out of the adding of layers, of vetting the layers, finding some of the stuff. There's going to be stuff pre-built in there with some options that will, I think, really lend itself to some complex analysis.
Yes.
Yeah, so you guys can surf that and maybe not tonight, but it'll crash tonight, I'm sure. But tomorrow, when it's fully functional, I think it'd be great to check out just to get a feel for what's going on there. Julie, can I ask you a favor?
Yeah.
Can you stop sharing your screen?
Yeah. Okay, there you go. Okay.
Let me try and share mine. So Julie wouldn't let me share this with you guys before, but now is my chance to share the relationship map. Can you guys see this, my map? Can you see my screen?
Yep.
Yep.
So I really love these relationship maps. You do have to be signed in. You can see up in the corner, my name is into your org account. So we're gonna do some analysis. This, how do I say, this scripted sort of exploration is actually linked on the agenda that Julie shared for you today. So what basically is a relationship map? And I think it's normally called a choropleth. I don't even know if I'm saying that right. Anyway, I've never heard of it, but you guys are probably familiar with relationship maps. Like, so can you guys see this, the map with all the pink?
Mm-hmm.
So we see the percent of reported medical cases of diabetes. And so we see these concentrations on the map. So if I wanted to, I could add another data point, the percent obesity. And so now I can actually put both of these things in the same map at the same time, which yields some really interesting insights into the spread. Can you guys see my key over here? High percentage of diet. So pink would be high percentage of diabetes, low percentage of obesity. The dark blue would be the high percentage of diabetes and the high percentage of obesity. You see, oftentimes in some of these data, these layers, that states or counties will be omitted. And I think that's just sort of a reporting thing, like they probably didn't get that data or they didn't want to share that information or something like that. But this is basically the structure of a relationship map. Let me see if I can do one very quickly. So I'm going to search for it. Can you guys see my map screen again?
Yes.
I'm going to search for a layer. What was that layer called again? It was county. And I'm searching for this layer in ArcGIS Online. I think it was county health, Julie. Yes, here we go.
Okay, good.
So we're looking at county health rankings. And I know this layer works because it's actually listed in the direction page that Julie has linked on this webinar's agenda, and I just showed you guys. So I'm going to add this county health ranking 2018, and it should pop my map like this. It should make it all turn pink. And so I could see, let me zoom in just a tad. So I'm looking at my map and I'm going to my style. You guys remember the style changer? It's the circle, triangle, square icon. And so basically what it's showing is just location. But let's make our own custom relationship map. So can you guys see these lists? Child deaths, child mortality rate, chlamydia rates, clinical care quartile. Some of these I don't even know what they are. But what we basically want to understand is we want similar, how do I say, reportings. So scales or percentages. I almost always start with graduation rate. But Julie, which one was the best one? The percent of like heavy drinkers?
I think we did smoking and drinking. It was a good time.
Percent? No, let's do, I'm not seeing percent. Yeah, here we go, percent smokers. So you guys see I have one attribute now mapped out. And it's still showing the breakdown so we can see in the United States who are purchasing the most cigarettes. So I want to add another attribute and I want to see like what is going on here. So I want to change it from population. I'm going to make it read, do you remember the name of it, Julie? So you might want to map out like smokers and employment, or smokers and poverty, or smokers. Maybe you felt like there was a connection between cigarettes and diabetes. But we're looking for alcohol consumption. We got smokers. We're going for.
Yeah. Not finding it, Dan.
Let me go back to the top. Maybe it's alcohol.
Yeah. Do child deaths. I think that's a good one. I mean, it's not cheery, but it's interesting. Okay.
So I have, hopefully it's in the same data perspective. So do you guys see I have two different layers selected, two attributes, of this layer to be displayed simultaneously. I'm scrolling down on my left and I want to select this relationship map. And if I pop this relationship map, I can suddenly see, and I can change all these options. This is a 3x3 grid. I can do a 4x4 grid. If I take a look at the options, I can actually get specific information about how each of these things was broken down. So we're looking at the percent smoker breakdown, and now we can also look at the child death breakdown. It's actually quite low in the United States, but we can see I don't want to say comorbidity, but the way these two factors interrelate with each other in this single map, and it's very easy to make. That's basically the gist of the relationship map. What Julie and I kept finding out is that in this part of America, like this right here in this middle, we have a giant concentration of heavy drinkers, heavy smokers, diabetes, and a lot of other health issues like concentrated here. And it really made me wonder or ask some questions that I think your kids might want to ask too, like, why is that the case? You can see only a few of these South Dakota districts are actually mapped out.
And that depends on the data that you have access, the data that's in the layer, because something else we looked at didn't have reports, and so it just depends on what's in there. But this is such an awesome way to show those relationships.
Yeah. Is there a relationship between low graduation rates and alcohol impaired driving deaths? It's an interesting question. I would have never thought of it until I was looking at this map and this spatial display of that data set. I really think it's absolutely fascinating. I don't know necessarily if it's going to align to content standards. Certainly if you were talking about current, if you were talking about health issues or something like that, like this could be an amazing project. And you saw how quickly I was able to create that representation. Once I have my map created, I can instantly just right click on it and I can save that as an image and I can pop it in anywhere. So if you wanted to have your kids submit some kind of representation of the work that they did or their investigation, it would absolutely be just a couple of clicks. I'm going to stop share, Julie. I'm going to send it back to you.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
So this is what the map that Dan and I created, but the key didn't come over, and I don't remember what we compared. So that's horrible.
It wasn't smoking and it's smoking and drinking.
I think it was smoking and drinking.
So the orange would be the high smokers, the high amount of smoking, high amount of drinking.
Mm-hmm. It was pretty interesting. So the last thing was we wanted, the story map contest is coming along, and so we want to make sure that that is on your radar. And I'm excited that a number of you brought it up. This was a good article that we've shared before in terms of like how to have a successful story map, and so just kind of it's just something you can use if you want to, help your learners think about story maps. There's some resources there. And then if you go back up to the very first follow-up webinar, you have the information about the map contest, and so we can share that again. Each school just needs to sign up once, and so somebody from your school sign up. If you're doing it elementary school, middle school, high school, please have the elementary school, the middle school, and the high school sign up individually. Middle school, so elementary, we are going from, it's going from middle school is considered to be grades 4th through 8th, because we do have a lot of elementary people that have taken the course, and so you'll want to coordinate with your middle school for that, and then high school is 9 through 12. So definitely worth checking into. But the sign up is open, and so you can sign up anytime under teacher registration. And just click on register here, and then you'll get notifications as we send anything out that way too. So that's where the story map contest is, and I'll drop that. Somebody else had asked for that too, so I'll drop that back here. All right, so I think, Dan, that is everything that we really wanted to touch on today. Lots of good stuff. I'm excited that you guys are thinking about presenting. So I will send out an email to everybody after we're done with this with the yes, I want to present at the TIE conference. And because if you're already going to the TIE conference, it's a great way to share your knowledge, and it would be really fun. And Dan and I would not turn you loose. We would help you out. So
we could do like a GIS fun night and go out to some fancy restaurant.
What? Okay, whatever. That wasn't what I was thinking. I was just thinking, we'll help you with the proposal, and we'll help you with the presentation.
Dan's thinking bribery.
Yeah, I went straight for it. Sorry.
He's way more fun than I am. You guys knew that. So, alrighty. Well, thanks guys for coming. And our next one is in January. So, yep, January 14th is our third and final webinar. So, thanks a lot, and look forward to seeing you, and have a good holidays.
You too. Thank you.
Thanksgiving.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Everybody.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.